you can relax. Next Day Blinds.
Good morning, America. Breaking news as we come on the air. Twin terror attacks overseas. ISIS claims responsibility for 2 deadly assaults in Iran. Terrorists storm parliament as lawmakers meet. Security forces help save this child. And a suicide bomber blows himself up at a famous shrine. The attacks injured dozens this morning.
The bombshell new report. Did President Trump ask the Director of National Intelligence to intervene in the FBI's Russia investigation? He is testifying this morning as fired FBI Director James Comey gets set for his own big showdown tomorrow. And the major new questions about the Trump family's charity.
Breaking new details on that government contractor arrested for leaking top-secret information about Russia's role in hacking the election. How the FBI tracked down the fitness instructor and Air Force veteran, tying her to those documents as her distraught parents speak out.
And it's a boy and a girl. George and Amal Clooney becoming first-time parents. The 56-year-old actor and human rights lawyer welcoming twins Alexander and Ella. Their hilarious baby announcement and the special gifts from their famous friends and family.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
Good morning, America. Such happy news for the Clooney family.
Yes, it is. George becoming a father, not one baby, but 2 at 56 years old.
Nothing wrong with having a baby at 56.
George, you're throwing a hint out there.
Yeah, right.
Good luck. All right, that's all I have to say. Congratulations as well. We have a lot of news to get to, including a brand new poll on the Russia investigation this morning. It reveals 6 in 10 Americans think President Trump fired FBI Director James Comey to protect himself rather than for the good of the country. This coming just one day before Comey testifies on Capitol Hill, and we'll have much more on that just ahead.
A lot of anticipation for that, but we begin with the breaking news. Twin terror attacks in the capital of Iran, killing at least 2 security guards, injuring dozens. The scene is still active this morning. ISIS has released video of the assault just moments ago. Our chief global affairs anchor, Martha Raddatz, has extensive experience reporting inside Iran. She's tracking all the latest right now. Good morning, Martha.
Good morning, George. State TV reporting that there are still 2 active gunmen inside the Parliament building. Some of the male attackers dressed as women. These multiple attackers were clearly coordinated, sophisticated, and if it is ISIS, for Iran, the attacks are unprecedented. Breaking now, ISIS releasing new video from inside the Parliament building as the attack unfolds. This video showing a gunman walking into an office space before opening fire. It's one of 2 attacks in the heart of Tehran, assailants storming the parliament, gunshots ringing out in the street. Chaos outside as people flee. At least one of the attackers blowing himself up inside, lawmakers in session when the siege began. Among those trying to escape, children. This picture showing police inside the Parliament building helping a child to safety. While another attack began minutes away at the shrine of Ayatollah Khomeini, detonating a bomb at the historic site. Overnight, ISIS claiming responsibility for the attacks. Again, the situation is very fluid. Those 2 gunmen still active inside the Parliament building. And, George, there are reports that one of the gunmen was actually outside and then able to return to the building.
Well-coordinated attack. Martha, I think a lot of Americans probably don't realize that ISIS is an enemy of the Iranian regime, but this is their first major attack inside the Capitol.
It truly is. This just does not happen inside Tehran. It was basically a suicide mission. I'm sure it will probably end with the deaths of these gunmen, but this is a huge wake-up call this morning, George, for Iran.
Okay, Martha Raddatz, thanks very much, Amy.
All right, George, back here at home, a very busy Wednesday. President Trump is heading to Cincinnati this morning to push his new infrastructure plan. This as top intelligence officials, including the Director of National Intelligence, Dan Coats, and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein testify on Capitol Hill about the Russia investigation. Let's go to our senior justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas, with more on what we can expect. And Pierre, there is this new report that the president may have also pressured Dan Coats in that Russia investigation.
Amy, good morning. That's right. Top law enforcement and intelligence officials on Capitol Hill today amid new allegations of President Trump trying to get others to help push back against the FBI's investigation of Michael Flynn, who had been forced to resign over Russia. Overnight, the Washington Post reporting that President Trump asked Director of National Intelligence Dan Coats to intervene with then FBI Director James Comey on the Michael Flynn investigation. According to the Post, Coats decided that intervening would be inappropriate. Today, Coats and other top intelligence and law enforcement officials are likely to face tough questions before the Senate Intelligence Committee. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein may get questions about his role in the firing of Comey, how he feels about the White House first suggesting that he was the catalyst for the firing of Comey when it was the president's idea. He also may face questions about his appointment of a special counsel. And senators are expected to press NSA Director Mike Rogers on whether President Trump asked him to push back on the notion there was collusion between Trump campaign associates and the Russians. With former Director Comey's dramatic testimony before Congress now a little more than 24 hours away, battle lines are already being drawn. Last night, supporters of the president releasing a TV ad attacking Comey.
James Comey, just another D.C. insider, only in it for himself.
But Thursday, after weeks of silence, Comey is finally going to have his say. Sources close to Comey telling ABC News he will describe an uncomfortable relationship with President Trump, with repeated encounters that made him uneasy. One source saying on that meeting where the president allegedly asked Comey for loyalty, Comey said he not only refused to give it, but believes the encounter was an amateurish attempt to bring the FBI director under the president's wing. Comey was constantly assessing the president's motive, unsure whether Trump was doing something sinister or simply someone used to getting his way and apparently unaware that the FBI director is supposed to be independent. But Comey was concerned enough to take notes about certain meetings, especially the one where Trump allegedly suggested he go easy on Michael Flynn, who had been forced to resign. Two sources tell ABC News that shortly after that meeting, Comey told Attorney General Sessions that he did not want to be left alone with the president, believing it was inappropriate. Trump has flatly denied these allegations. On Tuesday, when asked about Comey, Trump would only offer,
I wish him luck. Thank you, everybody.
So today, a lot of very senior officials on the hot seat, with Russia again front and center on Capitol Hill. George?
Today and tomorrow, Pierre, thanks very much. More now on our brand new poll out this morning with the Washington Post. It shows a majority of Americans have serious questions about how President Trump has handled James Comey and the Russia investigation. As we told you, 6 in 10 say he fired Comey to protect himself rather than for the good of the country. 56% believe that the president has interfered in the Russia investigation. With that, let's bring in our chief White House correspondent, John Karl. And John, not a lot of trust for the president in that poll, but some indication from the White House that he's prepared to fight back tomorrow.
Absolutely, George, although Sean Spicer yesterday at the White House briefing suggested that the president would be too busy to watch the hearing. I'm told that is just not true, that he has blocked out time to watch the hearing. Some here expect that he will respond in real time on Twitter, although, George, there is no plan to do so, and the president has been advised by his lawyers that it is not a good idea to go on Twitter.
And John, there's been some tension between the president and the attorney general over the Russian investigation. The president angry with the attorney general for accusing himself. And you reported yesterday he even suggested resigning?
Absolutely, George. The president has been enraged at the attorney general several times over the past several months, blowing up at him because he recused himself back in March from the Russia investigation. And at one point a couple weeks ago, I am told that Jeff Sessions said that if you're that upset, I will resign. The president did not take him up on that offer, at least not yet.
Okay, John Karl, thanks very much. Amy?
All right, now to that blockbuster new report raising serious questions about the Trump Organization and charity golf events that were meant to raise money for children with cancer. Our chief national correspondent, Tom Yamas, is here with new reporting on this. Good morning, Tom.
Amy, good morning to you. Eric Trump coming out very strong in defense of his foundation. But this morning, we have some of the charity's financial documents that are raising questions.
That's Twisted Sister rocking out with the Trump family in 2015, even the president jamming. According to an Eric Trump Foundation promotional video, this all happened in the name of charity.
One girl actually paid $50,000 to see my father and myself, Ivanka and Don, go up on stage with Dee Snider.
Those charity events for Eric's foundation were quite the blowouts. starting with golf on Trump courses, Hooters girls on the greens, and nighttime fun with acts like comedian Lisa Lampanelli.
Are you giving birth right now? Because that would be up. Wow, score, Mr. Trump Jr.
The events raising millions of dollars for St. Jude Children's Hospital to help kids fight cancer.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill.
But this morning, Eric Trump is defending his charitable foundation against accusations he was self-dealing to the Trump Organization.
And I've raised $16.3 million for the greatest hospital in the world at St. Jude. And I get attacked for it.
Forbes magazine reports hundreds of thousands of dollars in charity expenses went to the Trump family business, despite Eric saying many of the costs would be covered by the Trumps.
So we're able to come up with this concept of raising a lot of money with really no expense. And again, it's because we were incurring the expenses at the assets. We were taking on the expense as Trump. We were using our own facilities.
In question, why the golf invitational expenses ballooned from $59,000 in 2012 to $230,000 the next year and $242,000 in 2014. The IRS filings don't list what they spent the money on, just a bulk amount. ABC News has learned the foundation raised more than $1 million each of those years for St. Jude, but their biggest haul was 2012, when their expenses were the lowest.
The accounting here is not clear at all, which makes it very difficult to see what they were actually paying.
But he gives it to St. Jude's, so I'm very proud of Eric Trump.
Forbes says problems started with the charity when Donald Trump allegedly demanded the foundation be charged for using the facilities.
Donald came in and said, you know what? We're going to start billing you guys. Even though this is a charity event, even though this is for Kids for Cancer, we want you guys to pay.
Now, Eric Trump has also released a statement. We want to put it on the screen now, saying in part, contrary to recent reports, at no time did the Trump Organization profit in any way from the foundation or any of its activities. We also want to mention there is a surgery and an ICU center named in Eric Trump's foundation for his pledge to raise $20 million for that hospital. George?
Okay, Tom, thanks very much. Let's bring in John Avlon now, editor-in-chief of the Daily Beast, and Republican strategist Sarah Fagan, also a CNBC contributor, for more on all this. Let's begin with this Comey hearing tomorrow, the other hearing today, as well, shaping up to be a real watershed moment for the Trump administration. And as our poll shows this morning, starting out in a deep hole.
Yeah, the poll is really stark. I mean, the vast majority of the American people don't trust Trump on this issue. They don't think he was acting in the American people's interest. And what's disturbing when you dig into it, though, is there's still a stubborn partisan divide. Republicans are more likely to trust Donald Trump. Independents, Democrats, moderates, liberals, very, very skeptical. But overall, he's underwater, and there's no spinning your way out of that.
Sarah Fagan, we saw President Trump there wish Comey luck tomorrow. Not sure how sincere that was, but what's your take on the stakes of this tomorrow and what the president and his team have to do to counter it?
Well, there's no way for Donald Trump to win tomorrow. I mean, this is going to be a bad press day no matter what. The question is, are they going to make it worse? They would be well advised to say they're going to let the investigation play out, and they're confident in the final analysis there'll be no cooperation between the Trump campaign and Russia, and say nothing else.
The question, Sarah, is going to be, can they keep the president off Twitter during the hearing?
Yeah, I think it's going to be critical for the president to stay off Twitter. I don't know that he'll do it, but not only for the PR factor here, which is a big part of what tomorrow's going to be about, is how does the press around this play out, but potentially legally for the president. The more the president wades in on this investigation and comments about what did or didn't happen or who said what to whom, he puts himself in a potentially a legal position that's really troubling for him and his White House.
And John, on this new report about Eric Trump and his charity right there could be some legal problems for the charity as well.
Sure. No, and this is very troubling. I mean, raising money for St. Jude's is honorable, but if you're all of a sudden effectively giving kickbacks by expenses going to Trump properties, that's problematic, and it's part of a pattern of self-dealing. Even during the campaign ended up paying money to Trump properties. So this may not have been intentional, but if that was the effect, it's very hard to explain.
Okay, John Avlon. Go ahead, Sarah.
I was going to say, I think the problem for a story like this in the context of the Comey investigation is that somebody who bills a charity excessively, if that's in fact what happened, is more likely to have fired somebody to protect themselves. Yeah. These things work to the disadvantage of Donald Trump.
They all come together. Sarah Fagan, John Allen, thanks very much. I'm going to be anchoring live coverage of the testimony starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. James Comey's testimony. It's right here on ABC. And to get all the latest reporting, download the ABC News app and sign up for breaking news alerts. Amy?
All right, George, and now to new details on that terror attack in Paris at one of the most visited tourist sites in the world. A man armed with a hammer and knives targeting police outside Notre Dame Cathedral. Inside, hundreds on lockdown, sitting in the pews with their arms in the air. ABC's James Longman is in Paris with the very latest on all of that. Good morning, James.
Good morning, Amy. Yes, this morning the Paris prosecutor confirming that a declaration of allegiance to ISIS was found in the attacker's apartment, even though the authorities had no previous knowledge of him.
At 4:20 p.m. local time Tuesday, surveillance video shows a man wielding a hammer attack an officer standing guard outside the cathedral, reportedly shouting, "This is for Syria. Watch again." Within seconds, another officer shoots and wounds the attacker as people on the plaza scatter. Lying on the ground, police say he shouted, "I am a soldier of the caliphate." An Algerian identity card was found on him. Cell phone video recorded by an American tourist, Carl Riches, shows an officer standing over the assailant.
We heard the 2 gunshots, and he had blood coming out from his leg.
As police rushed to the scene, at least 900 people were kept inside the 12th century church. And look at this, a startling image from the pews. People ordered to put their hands up. Nancy Soderberg, a former American ambassador to the UN, was there.
They made us put our hands up, saying that there may be accomplices there, so we're going to search everything. And that's when people got really quiet and very nervous. And that was kind of scary because people thought there might be one of the attackers inside the church.
A priest said the Lord's Prayer to help calm people, held inside for what one witness says felt like 2 hours.
It was nice to be around people from all over the world, kind of getting through it, sitting calmly together.
This morning, the attacker is in hospital being guarded by police. France has been under a state of emergency since 2015. And since then, there have been 4 attacks on the security services. Amy?
All right, such stunning images, frightening moments there. Thank you, James. Michael?
All right, thank you, Amy. And turning now to dramatic testimony in the Bill Cosby trial, the former comedian coming face to face with his accuser in court. And ABC's Lindsay Davis has the story.
It was arguably the most anticipated moment of the trial. Andrea Constand walking into a packed courtroom Tuesday where she gave tearful testimony about an alleged sexual assault by Bill Cosby 13 years ago.
We are just so proud of her for maintaining her composure, and I think she answered the questions to the best of her ability.
The former Temple University employee testified about what she says happened in 2004 at Cosby's Pennsylvania home. She says she saw Cosby as a mentor, and when he gave her 3 blue pills to ease her stress, she took them, but quickly started feeling dizzy. I was trying to get my hand to move or my legs to move, she said, but I was frozen. Constand says Cosby then sexually assaulted her. I wanted it to stop, she said as she cried on the stand. Cosby, who has said that their encounter was consensual, sat rather stoically during her testimony until one point where she got somewhat graphic and he began vigorously shaking his head in disagreement. During the testimony of another witness yesterday, the defense was able to establish a pretty significant inconsistency in the account of the only other accuser involved in this case. A 6-year discrepancy in when she says that she was assaulted by Bill Cosby. In the meantime, the cross-examination of Andrea Constand continues this morning. As you would expect, the defense not pulling any punches, Michael.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more on that. And we're going to go to Ginger now. And Ginger, there's some flooding in Florida.
Almost 5 inches of rain, record daily rainfall in Fort Lauderdale. Just west of them in Davie, you have this. And look at this image. This is from the Florida Panhandle. That young lady standing, the house in the background, her mailbox right there. She's chest deep in water. Some places up to 14 inches in the Everglades. More to come. Let's get to the rainy cities now. Brought to you by Walmart.
Today will be on the cool side. Our temperatures locked in the 60s, our coolest day in about 2 weeks. Meanwhile, tomorrow, jackets on, 72 the high. So we'll go from spotty showers today, dry tomorrow, but still on the cool side, and then finally warming up by the end of the week. The high up to 80 degrees on Friday, where it's looking very nice. First part